Computer. Hi, this is Saintjerome of Crypto Experiences bringing you a precious metals experience here today. Today, I have Ronnie from Alpine Gold. I've asked him to share just a little bit. And hi, Ronnie.
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm glad you could come. Share a little bit with me on your background, if you would, and then what Alpine Gold is exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ronnie. I'm the Vice President of Operations and Marketing with Alpine Gold Exchange. I've been with the company a little over 2 years. I started as a contractor for Goldback, in fact. So a
Oh, okay.
little bit about my background before we jump into the companies themselves. I was big in logistics. I got my career in the healthcare space where I was helping medical device manufacturers ship their product efficiently, effectively using modern technology. You might be surprised to hear this, but there's not a lot of renovation or innovation that happens in the healthcare space in the United States. So when you come in with a simple idea, a lot of times people look like you've created fire. So
Right.
I created a business where we were doing the distribution, the fulfillment, and then some operational support for those manufacturing companies. So I grew that business, ended up selling it, and I was looking for something that I could really sink my teeth into
Mm-hmm.
and something that I was passionate about. And I was introduced to Goldback through a connection of mine, and heard that they were looking for some help building some fulfillment for them. And so I got introduced to Goldback that way. And I thought, hey, precious metals, I'm a buyer. I love precious metals. I love
Yep.
sound money. Been a big fan and aware of, Austrian economics and different types of economics, and just been casually paying attention to what's going on in the world. So I was introduced to this space that naturally, but when I saw what Goldback was doing, it was an opportunity for me in my career to excel at something where I'm really good at logistics and fulfillment. And I could actually be passionate about it. Where the
Right.
precious metal space, I believe we are helping people. I think it's a really great time to be in the industry. But it's always a good time to be in the industry, which is something that I've learned. So anyway, I jumped in as a contractor, and they liked me a little bit enough to offer me a full-time position, and I gladly accepted it
Mm-hmm.
with Alpine Gold. And so Goldback Inc. is the wholesaler distributor of the Goldback product. And so they sell their product to companies who then resell to end users. Their mission is awesome, and it's to make this cash adjacent product, something that people can use every day, that is the value, right? Typically with fiat, your audience, you understand very well that
Right. Yeah.
fiat, represents something else, and you're just trading this piece of paper. Whereas with the Goldback, it is gold. It is made of pure 24 karat, the smallest denomination, 1/1000th an ounce. So a tiny, tiny fractional amount of gold that you can spend every day. So there's thousands of businesses across the country that will take it publicly. Many, many more vendors will take it in private exchanges and that kind of thing. And that's the point, is people should have options and they should have power in their currency. And since I've been a part of the organization, I've seen, I think, a 75 to 80% increase in value of
Mm-hmm.
Goldbacks just in the past 2 years. Inflation, cost of everything is just increasing like crazy. The value of the dollar is dropping. And so these Goldback notes, the Goldbacks themselves, they just continue to deliver on promises. And it's a really, really awesome asset. And so Goldback, long time ago, had some foresight, saw that they needed a place for people to get in and out of fiat, to exchange between assets. And so they acquired Alpine Gold Exchange. And so Alpine Gold Exchange is a customer-facing vault and precious metals exchange that offers not just Goldbacks, but gold and silver accounts where you can vault, so you can store with us here. And we have branch locations across the country as well. But you can also have, through the UPMA, accounts, free accounts, where you deposit your funds. They're backed 100% with the asset that's in your account, and you can liquidate back to us. You can trade amongst other members. The options are endless, what you can do. But the point is you can use precious metals, and that's Alpine Gold's mission.
You brought up a couple questions I was thinking about on there. So, first for the audience, what does UPMA stand for?
Yeah, sure. So the UPMA is, and this is one of the questions that we get a lot, is the United Precious Metals Association. And so in order to exchange privately and maintain that privacy in transactions through a digital medium of exchange, trust law is the way to do it. And so the
Right.
UPMA manages a collection of trusts. And so when you create an account through Alpine Gold, you go to a UPMA portal effectively, and you put in some information, and a trust is created using that information for you. And now you manage that trust, and that's how those private exchanges effectively can take place.
Now, can people only invest then through the UPMA? That's why I understand it. You
Sure.
have to, is that correct?
So yeah, I mean, if it depends on what you mean by invest. If you want to buy,
Well,
and
like if you want to get it, if you want to get in the Alpine Gold and Vault, do you have to go through the UPMA then? Is that correct?
yes, that's correct. So all
Yeah.
vaulted holdings, whether that's the leases, the IRA program, or just typical vaulted metals, all of those are managed and maintained within that UPMA software. And so we have a team of developers that maintains it, and a lot of backend security to secure it. But yeah, all that stuff happens within that portal. However, on our e-commerce site on alpinegold.com, you can shop for precious metals online, and then we can deliver them to you at your
Okay.
door. And we ship to a lot of places around the world. So anywhere in the US is easy. Other countries, check on our website and see where we do ship.
Now, see if I remember right, but Alpine Gold will make available for buying, for purchasing Goldbacks, the Gold Eagle, the Silver Eagle, and like the American Liberty. Is that what I'm thinking of? Is Silver Eagle? And then don't you have a Buffalo also?
Correct. Yeah. So the products are offered through Alpine Gold. Goldback is our parent company, but they don't interface with end users really at all unless you resell to other businesses or other people, unless you're a reseller. And so with Alpine Gold, we offer four things, and that's the Gold Eagle in 1 ounce, Gold Buffalo in 1 ounce, the Silver American Eagle in 1 ounce, and then all of the Goldbacks. So all variants, denominations, and states, we offer those.
To be upfront with everybody watching today, that I'm big time into this. I know Alpine Gold well now. I've been vaulting Goldbacks for, gosh, I think since January of this year. So I like it, and I'm sure you'll talk about your lease program and those kind of things. Yeah, but you offer a lot, so it's really neat, and it's very simple to use. And I like the trust idea. So. All right, we did that good. I'm only going down my questions. Well, okay, do you want to go right into like the leasing program? And then I also have on here like the link debit Visa card.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll talk a little bit about the leasing program. Before that, and I want to let your audience know that, Alpine Gold. So Goldback's been around since around 2018, 2019 is when they really started making the first Goldbacks. So Alpine Gold has been a partner the entire way. And so we've been vaulting accounts for, about 5 years now with Goldbacks in those UPMA accounts. So it's been about 5 years, but Alpine Gold has been in business for over a decade. In 2012, right after the Legal Tender Act in Utah was signed into law, the North American Monetary Exchange, which is our company's original name, was founded. And so the guy who wrote the bills, his name is Larry Hilton, founded this company. And so back in 2012, we opened our doors and started doing business as a typical vault exchange company. And so we've been doing those 3 legal tender assets for over a decade. We've been vaulting the entire time. And so we've been in business for, quite a while, respective to Goldback. And so there's a long history of local members who have been using vaulting services or getting in and out of metals on a local scale, and then also on a national scale. So we have members all over the country who've been, vaulting with us or using our services for a long time. But it made sense to add Goldback as a product because, if we want to really make metals usable as a sound alternative currency, we want to be able to spend them every day like cash, but also use them in a digital method. And so the development over the years has allowed us to do that with the software development and with modern technology. offering Goldback the capacity to scale and do incredible levels of security. Along the way, this wasn't a surprise to anyone, but gold is expensive, right?
Right.
Gold is
Yeah.
expensive at scale to buy. And the more Goldback grew, the more intensive cash flow became. So we wanted to ensure that we could continue to scale the production of Goldbacks and to meet that demand that the market was developing. And so the owners thought of this program, which we call a Goldback lease. And so it's a way that the customer, so anyone, can create a lease agreement with Alpine Gold to where they buy Goldbacks and they lease them back to us. And in return for that, you earn a guaranteed return paid in Goldbacks into your account. And so if you think about it, it's somewhat like a CD or a different kind of, you know, treasury bill or a bond type, like it's a type of asset where you give a bank money, they give you a return. At the end of that term, they give you your cash back and you do what you want with it. So it's similar in that aspect. The reason that Goldback uses it effectively is to crowdsource the funding to buy more gold and to scale Goldbacks further. And so we sell out of Goldbacks every time we make them, right? Every run, we already know that we have guaranteed orders. And so as they come and go out into the world, we know that people will want to continue to buy and vault them with us. And so instead of just sitting on a shelf, we offer that lease where you can earn between 2 and 3.5% guaranteed return of those Goldbacks in your account. And
Well, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying maybe we should tell everybody what Goldbacks are exactly. I don't think we said
yeah,
that. So, do you have a couple there?
I do. I
Oh,
carry
that's
them in my
cool.
wallet because I spend
So
them.
they, hey everybody, Goldbacks have actual gold in them, and I've been doing this speech a little bit. There's a one Goldback, a 5, a 10, a 25, and a 50. I got them all, didn't I?
Yep. 1,
Okay,
5, 10, 25, and 50.
and they're totally fungible. You've got 1/1000th of an ounce in the one, and you got 1/20th of an ounce in the 50. And boy, you can tell the difference in the bills.
Yeah.
Between that one and that 50. 50's bigger and it's a lot thicker and heavier.
Yep, it is really dense. I'm glad you brought that up. Gold is, you know, it's a dense metal. And so when you hold that 50 note, you can really feel that difference between the one. And it is completely fungible. So if you have 51s and you bring them into a store or into a branch and you say, hey, I'd like to get a 50 instead of these, we'll do the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, you know, difference in price. We just give you your 50 and then we take the 51s. And so, yeah, we have 5 states right now where the artwork really is the difference. There's not any, you can spend this is in Nevada, you can spend this in any state, right? If the vendor's willing to and sees value in gold as a means of exchange, it's likely that they'll want to accept payment in an asset that over our lifetime increases in value, right? Where contrary to the dollar. So there's over 2,000 businesses across the country today that will accept these as currency. You can go on alpinegold.com and see a directory of all those businesses. You can even go on goldback.com and there's a similar directory there. So this is a powerful thing. It's really beautiful. There's gold, you know, this is gold. So it's clear polymer on either side. It's like a little gold sandwich. And so it's flexible. You can crease it, you can bend it. It won't cut you, it won't hurt you. But I do carry them in my wallet because I do spend them. I mean, kids with the lemonade stands, they love accepting gold.
Yeah, those cool. Yeah, I pay my grandson when he does stuff around. I said, "You want Goldbacks or you want this dirty green fiat stuff?" And he's 13 and he's figured out that this dirty fiat stuff isn't so great. I mean, just in a short amount of time that I've been doing Goldbacks and vaulting, I think I was purchasing at like $3.60,
Yep.
65, and now today I just look, it was 520 on the Goldback side. I was like, good grief, that's in 8 months. So if you're leasing,
Yep.
if the gold's going up, you're making more than the 2% Goldbacks. You're making the value of the gold also, and that can be several percent. What you initially invested. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It's a really scalable thing, and it's something that, like, obviously I work here, right? So like I'm a little bit biased, but I have a lot of experience investing in CDs and treasury bonds. And, I thought I was really slick. I got a 6% guaranteed corporate bond, and I got a
Yeah.
5%, 5%. I got a few of them at the beginning of last year. Rates were really high, and I thought 6%. I mean, that beats my lease by a whole bunch. But what happened with the dollar over that year was that my spending power, things got worse. I
Yeah.
lost
Big time.
value of my
Yeah.
6%. So at the end of it, it was, hey, I got my 6% return on this over the course of the year. I couldn't touch it, couldn't touch any of those funds for the whole year. Everything was just showing in my account. And I was like, okay, cool. I know I'm going to get 6% at the end. And then I got my money, and then I owe my taxes. Sorry about the explosion. But you owe your taxes and you owe all the other stuff on those dollars that you've earned. And then things are more expensive at the end of it
Yeah.
versus at the beginning. If I would have invested in Goldbacks and a Goldback lease instead at that rate, even let's say at 2%, I ended up losing, I think, 15% overall value, because gold as an asset had gone up double digits. I think it
Oh
was
yeah.
15%, and the guaranteed return of the base asset. So, if you start with $10,000, you're getting 2% guaranteed of more gold. So, it's a compound style thing where if gold continues to go up in value, it's not just, your base asset goes up in value, but you're getting more of the base asset, which there's almost no other products like that in the world, right? There are gold leases, but this is something that every month in your account, those dividends are paid, and those are free and clear. You can do whatever you'd like with them. And so unlike a CD where there's a long-term commitment and you can't touch it, the Goldback returns are paid every month. And so in your account, you'll see those. In fact, you had an example with your grandson where
Yeah.
you're a choice. So I have a 4-year-old, and he talks to me all the time about what he can help with, because he understands, I go to work so I can earn money and provide. And so he says, what can I work for and what will I earn? And so in returns for my lease, I go and I withdraw, a few Goldbacks every month. And I say, hey, if you do your chores, these are the Goldbacks that you'll earn. To me, it's free, right? Those are my dividends that I'm earning from this Goldback lease. I get to teach my son a great lesson. He has tangible gold in his hand. And then we go to stores. We have an Ace Hardware here locally that we go, honeydew stuff. I'm there probably every week. And they love us. They love coming in. They love seeing my son buy a lollipop with a Goldback. And he likes to see, like, okay, cool. This costs one Goldback. And then, in 6 months later, he'll see, oh, this one Goldback will continue to buy more things. And so that's the sound principle. It's so powerful what we're able to do with that Goldback lease. And the next step up from it would be that Goldback IRA. So it's the same benefits that we offer in that lease, you can do so in a protected IRA account. So the benefits are they're just everywhere to be had, and we wish more people would take advantage of them, because it is incredible.
Now, see if I remember correctly, and I studied this a long time before I got into it. I was very impressed. If when you lease, and if you want to terminate the lease, it can be terminated as early as 60 days. Is that right?
60 days with no penalty.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
when you begin, it's not a long-term commitment. It's not a year minimum and then some. Basically, it's a 60-day commitment. Keep it with us for the length of time it takes us to make the Goldbacks, or Goldbacks, takes the time for them to make it. And then at the end of it, you can withdraw physically those Goldbacks. You can come in to any one of our branches and physically withdraw them, or you can sell them back to us. And the industry's least favorite loss leader is the one that we offer, and it's our 0% buy sell spread.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, it really is crazy. Anything up to $10,000 per month, you can liquidate at 0 spread. So if gold goes up 10% for your lease term for a year, you can go in and say, hey, I'd like to liquidate everything. It's a 0 spread for you, so you get to keep all the benefit. We just, our mission is to help people, man. We want to get options in people's hands. We've seen what happens to the dollar over time, and it's just not getting better, unfortunately. And so these services, we could make a lot more money in this industry, and that would be cool. But being in business for this long, in the service of making metals money, again, we want to help as many people as we can and get these things in people's hands.
Well, I've used the Goldbacks a little bit in the crazy state of Illinois.
Nice.
The one thing, I mean, our state is kind of a tough for a guy like me to live in, but that's all pretty much north of I-80. pretty
Yep.
much everybody south of I-80 is a like mind of things for that. But yeah, forgot where I was going with that whole thing. One thing I was going to mention was the process of making Goldbacks. See if I've got it right. The company
Sure.
is Valorum, right? That
Yes.
makes the Goldbacks. So they make several, matter of fact, gold embedded, I'll say bills, but they some are like from Africa, and they got
Yeah.
like different cute little things. And I think Valorum met met with Jeremy. Is that right?
Yep.
Jeremy, is it, what's his last name? Cordon?
Gordon. Yeah.
Corden. Okay. And they met and go, hey, it's kind of like the old Reese's commercial, right? I got chocolate, I got peanut butter, boom, and they hit each other. It's
Yeah.
almost the same thing. And they both went ding, ding, ding. And so
Yep.
the way I understand it is is this a huge block of gold at the end of this multi-million-dollar machine, and then they basically vaporize it and
Yep.
send the
That's
atoms in the air. I mean, that's just crazy. And then they put on the polymer, and the
yep.
laser weighs it and puts a beautiful little pattern on it, and then they slap the other polymer, and then they cut it like a bill.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just amazing. Just
That's pretty
amazing.
spot on. Yeah. I mean, when you look at them, you're like, how do they spray it on here? And like, how do I get gold into
Mm-hmm.
that form? Right. But it is an incredible process. I mean, it's the technology that they use to put gold on the visors for astronauts. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
technology to use to put gold on the microchips and the other things that we actually use every day. And in modern technology, it's the technology itself exists. Valorum has done an excellent job in creating beautiful things, these tangible gold assets. And
Yeah.
so they took the technology and started to make pretty things with it. And with Jeremy's kind of foresight to say, hey, this actually has value, we can make this a currency. But yeah, it comes with, the machine is about as big as my office. And you can't see my office, but it's about, let's say it's 11 by 11. It's a
Yeah.
big machine about the size of a room. Inside that, there's a vacuum chamber. And so they suck out all the air, all the oxygen, all the everything that's in the air. They clean it out. So it's cleaner than space. And then there's these, what we call targets, big blocks of very finely tuned, pure gold. It has to be within, I think, 2 millimeters of accuracy. Otherwise, the process just doesn't work. And
Oh,
so
wow.
they take these pre-printed, basically Goldback sheets, right? So we do these
Right.
specialty type of printing. There's all these security measures that are on there. And then, yeah, the gold goes into this chamber, and this explosion happens when you charge that vacuum with gold and other things. There's, gases and electrons, all these other things that are happening. And effectively, yeah, it's an explosion of atoms. And they've been able to figure out a way to do it so evenly to where they do X-ray testing and assay testing and all kinds of other stuff in-house and third party to validate, is there the quantity that we say that's in here, and making sure that it's balanced and all these other things. So, there's never been a Goldback counterfeited. If people were to try, it would be, I'd say $8 to $10 million, right? Just to start.
Right.
And then they'd have to be terrible for 2 to 3 years at it. They'd have to figure out and iterate as we've done. There's, just because we've been doing this for so long doesn't mean every single one we've made was perfect from day one. The world only sees the best. And so,
Right.
we've been getting better and better at the process, which has allowed us to scale over time, because now today, yes, almost every single run that comes out is absolutely perfect. And so we're able to really, really ramp up, which has
Well,
been
I've
an
heard
amazing.
that every Goldback actually has slightly more gold than it says. That
Yep, that's
that the one has anywhere between like 1.02 to 1. Well, not 02, but like 2% maybe or so. I mean,
yep,
and so there's never been a Goldback anybody's found since you release them that didn't have at least as much as it says, and you actually usually have more.
yep.
And that's really good. And then I've seen the Health Ranger
Mhm.
um, uh, take the bills independently and cut them,
Yeah.
cut them up, put them in you got to have a high temperature kiln, right, with the
Yep.
ceramic little cup, and all
Mhm.
the polymer goes away, and then there's that BB of gold, whatever
Yep.
denomination you have. The 1/1000's a tiny, but the
Yep.
50, it's a pretty good lump.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
50 is a pretty big size. I mean, the 10th ounce gold eagle coins that the
Right.
government makes. I mean, they're small, but the 50, if you cut that coin in half, has that amount of gold content in it. And even for this technology, the 50 is, like, technically, according to the machine, not able to be made. So even further, if you were to have the same technology and experience and scientific know-how, you'd have to still figure out a way to make this improbable note be malleable and in the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's been an incredible learning experience for me to see, how much accuracy and science goes into this. But you're 100% right. All the Goldbacks have, about a 7%, 5 to 7% spread over
Yeah.
within the Goldback, because we do our best to be perfect every single time. And if it's between 102 and 107% of the guarantee, that's a good enough guarantee
Oh
for
yeah,
us.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, who can complain if you always get a little more
Yeah,
than
it's
what
funny.
it's
I mean,
what
you
it's
hear
built at?
people, yeah, and you hear people say like, well, how do I get the gold out? Right. And I don't encourage it, right? The point of this is to use it, right? In this
Right.
form, there's serial numbers and there's security features. You can spend this asset. Whereas a little tiny BB of gold, that's much harder to do anything with. Um, but yeah, it's a really cool thing that we're continuing to improve and iterate. Goldback is rather all the time, but they're always taking notes from people. And if anyone has ideas or other things, like it's fun to hear what people come up with.
I was gonna go back to Alpine Gold exactly. So now you're in Utah now, is that correct?
Our
Right. So
headquarters is in Alpine, Utah. Yeah.
yeah, Alpine, Utah. So you've got the most businesses in Utah, right? And there's a bunch of businesses in Utah that take it. I was just like, wow. But here, I actually have this trip I want to take where I hit all the western states that take goldbacks and go spending my way. Go to the pizza place. I've been looking online who's got businesses. It's a crazy selection of stuff. So I just had a friend that moved to Spearfish, South Dakota, so I
Okay.
gave him some goldbacks to take with him. He's got some businesses that are close enough he can go to, drive to spend them. So
Yeah.
that's pretty neat. So how many do you know about? Well, you should know, but how many vaults do you guys have, and kind of where are they?
Sure. So our main vault is here in Alpine. This is our main secure location. We have a class 3 vault here. Our building was built on top of the vault. The whole purpose
Very
of
cool.
the construction was, hey, we're going to have a vault here on location. And so there's, lasers and keypads and biometric scanners and bulletproof walls. There's, a
Wow.
lot of security that goes on to protect and preserve that. Even one of my favorite facts about the building is that we get some earthquakes in Utah, but nothing really as detrimental as, say, California or other places that
Right.
are pretty infamous for those. But the building was built to withstand, large scale earthquakes. And so they even thought beforehand, hey, earthquakes, floods, what you name it, we're going to protect this vault from the foundation up. So the foundation is actually several meters wider than the building itself to ensure that there is that stability there. So from day one into, now we've been operating out of that location for 7 or 8 years. There's been an incredible level of security. So we have branches as well in New Hampshire, South Dakota. We just opened up a sales office in Wyoming. We have locations in Vernal, Utah, Ogden, Utah, Provo, Utah, and then here in Alpine as well. And then we're going to be expanding this next year to likely 2 more states. So there's one on the East Coast and one here in the Mountain West as well that we're looking at. But
Okay.
each branch has sufficient inventory, so they don't all have vaults
Right.
like we have here with all the bells and whistles, but they do have secure locations where there's operating inventory for the UPMA members in those regions to use their funds. So if businesses want to come in and exchange or buy goldbacks for change, whatever it is that the commercial side of things want to do there, we have forecasts and we're able to supply them with what's needed.
Well, I know also that everything's insured. And was that by Lloyd's of London?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
yep, 100% insured, which is unique to us. I mean, I know that there's competitors, vaulting services, who will cover a tenth or a fourth of their assets. We're unique in that it's 100% insured.
Mhm.
So in transit and here on site, there's a lot of other small aspects that we pay for, but it's the world, it's your guys' assets. It's our responsibility to protect them to the maximum and to do so at a fair price.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting that you're going to expand to 2 more states. I think Illinois will probably lag behind on, on getting that. The one thing they have done correctly in Illinois for a long time is there's no sales tax on purchase of gold and silver. So that's a
Yeah.
big plus.
That's a
but
big one.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a really big one. We, again, and this probably will lead to the next question you asked about the linked debit card,
right.
Visa debit.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That sales tax thing is so big because, our whole mission facilitating the spending of these metals, we try to offer services and find new ways to be competitive with, traditional banking services. Um, getting people to communicate with their local legislator would be like, that's like my main hurrah. If we can get everyone to just write a letter or an email to your local legislator. I was speaking to a state rep actually here in Utah, and he was, we were doing a tour of the vault. He was talking to me about a conversation he had with the governor. And we just had a refresh of the Legal Tender Act here in Utah to kind of be more specific and to help Utahns out further. And he was like, hey, what are your constituents? What are you doing in your constituency to get them so fired up? And the representative's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, my office has been inundated with these letters from your constituents. And there was a dozen letters that were sent. So the governor was overwhelmed with a dozen letters,
You're right.
from people in one thing. So it doesn't take, it seems daunting to most of us. America's a big country. It's very populated, but it seems daunting to get started, but it's really not, like everyone's voice. If you can get just your family and a couple of neighbors or friends involved in doing that, it'll help a long way. You guys are already ahead of the game where there's no sales tax, but that's like, if I could wave a magic wand, that would be the case across the country. But yeah, what we've done is, and we continue to try to look for better options as well. But there's a Visa debit card through TrueLink Financial. So it is a financial institution. They're FDIC insured. And we have an integration with them effectively where you have your funded account and there's a tiny minimum, but it's like $50, I think it is today. You can fund that account with as little as $50. And so it liquidates that amount of metals being held in your account and it goes onto this card. What's cool about it is you can refresh it every day, or you can have it top up to a certain balance monthly, or just stick it there, like I said, for every day. So you can say, hey, let's put $1,000 a month on this card for just in case, or for, certain types of spending. And so that way, you have your metals account and you always have a little bit to spend. And then if there's a situation where, you're sending your kid off to college, or you're buying your grandkid a new bike or whatever, you can say, hey, take a little bit of gold, put it on my card, some Goldbacks, sell some Goldbacks, put it on my card, and you can swipe that card anywhere where Visa is accepted, just like a debit card.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gets sent to you.
Can't do that with the bar of gold too easily.
Yeah, it's
That's one
unfortunate.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about Goldbacks is it's fractional, and you can I mean you can use a Visa card, you can actually use the bill itself.
Yep.
But I mean, if you have an ounce of gold, try to spend that for a gallon of gas, right? I mean, actual physical has good investment,
Yep.
but not practical to use like the Goldback is. That's why I just love it like that. And silver is the next closest thing. And to get fractionally, and you got pretty much go down to old dimes, right, or like quarters to get the same thing going. But the bills
Yep.
are so handy; they go in your wallet. They look beautiful.
Yep.
It's just a really good thing.
Yeah, and they sit nicely in there. I have a nice thin kind of wallet here, and we're working on iterations of it. But I get to hold my different cards in here, and I have my Goldbacks there. And so yeah, I get to spend those. I spend them every week, just about.
Is that a newer style wallet? Is that different than the one that's been selling? I've got a couple myself. Looks like it was more flexible or something.
This one is a early prototype.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you a little secret of those early prototypes. The reason we didn't go with this style is, I don't know if you can see, but those edges have worn
Yeah, I see
quite
that.
significantly. Yeah. So the new ones, they don't wear like that. There is the clasp over the top. They're not new, but they're, a couple years old. But this early prototype, I wanted to see what it looked like after years of wear. And so I'm really happy that we went with the model that we currently have. And we're actually going to be releasing a new model on alpinegold.com exclusively soon that is designed for the 1s, the 5s, and the 10s only. So, if 25s or 50s, typically those are, pretty high dollar amounts, 150,
right.
$300 of value. I don't typically carry that much value in my wallet. I'm, 20, $40, something like that. It's what I have. And so this wallet is a smaller profile, and, that should go live closer to Christmas. So we're excited about that.
I saw a guy on YouTube. I don't I think he's an independent guy. He took a gold back in his wallet and every day took it out and wrinkled it for a year. Did you see that guy?
No,
He
that's
took it out
funny.
every day, and I want to tell you, after doing that every day of the year, the gold stayed in the gold back. And the
Yeah.
gold back, well, it looked wrinkled, but it was
Yeah.
still, you could tell. I mean, you can do that to dollar bill and it looks wrinkled too. Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah. I have one in here for that kind of purpose because people will ask, how durable are they? Because that amount
Yeah.
of gold, you should be able to just kind of rip apart, which if it was by itself, that is the case. But yeah, you can crumble these up and
It
hear
takes
the
a
sound.
strong man to rip that polymer. As a matter of fact, I don't think a strong man can rip it. You can cut it, but I don't think you can rip it.
That's correct. I've never seen anyone rip one.
No, I
So
tried. I tried just messing around. Oh no, not even couldn't even
yeah,
dent it at all.
I haven't seen it happen, but they're fun, man. It's cool. There's no stronger business card in the world than these. And so even in networking situations where, hey man, I want to spend goldbacks, wherever you are, you can attempt to pay for these things and people remember it. They'll remember next time you go into that restaurant
Mhm.
or next time you
Oh
go into
yeah,
that vendor. Like, oh, hey, you paid in gold last time. Like, do you have more or what's that like? Tell me more about it. And so people start asking you questions instead of the other way around, it's really fun.
yeah. I've tipped in gold. I mean, I can't really. There's nowhere around here right now that I know unless it's a mom and pop that
Yeah.
will take them for the purchase price at a restaurant. But I can tip. I go, do you want some gold? And someone
Yeah.
looks at me like, gold, And I said, no, look, really. But then a couple people go, that's cool, and they take it. Matter of fact, poor girl at Starbucks, I gave it to her. She was excited. She put it up on the wall, and then somebody stole it.
Oh no.
Like the next time I went back,
Yeah.
that's real sad.
The
Um,
sound money bandit.
Yeah, that exactly. So it's gold. I better take that. I was going to ask about the privacy here. So if you sign up for a UPMA account, what information do you need to take from the person signing up?
Sure. That's a great question. So, um, it's pretty typical demographic. So like name, date of birth, your address, an email address is also required. So we do as little as we need to, but as much as we can for security. And
And
so,
you don't do
yeah,
Social Security, correct?
correct. Yeah,
I
we're
I,
not a
I like
federally
that a
licensed.
lot.
Yeah, we're not a federal institution. We're not a
Yeah.
bank. And so we don't have to report to any federal agency. Any of our assets under management, any of the vaulted holdings that we have, we don't report any of the transactions, nothing. So that's, amongst the responsibility of those things belong with the people that are using those assets. In some
Right.
states,
Yeah.
there's different taxes or fees or whatever, and that's, their responsibility to use those, to pay those taxes accordingly. But from our perspective, you create that account and it is held in a trust. And so anyone who wants to know information about it has to go through the federal trust law. They have to violate trust. They have to violate all kinds of privacy rights. We back everything up on site. So we have, a set of servers here, and we also do printouts regularly of physical holdings. So if there's ever a grid failure scenario where power or computers might get fried or whatever, we do have assets and security measures in place to just document people's account holdings.
How often do you do the paper trail
The
like
paper
that?
one, the paper one we're doing just about monthly right now, but it is a lot of paper.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It would be a lot of paper. I bet that several feet high in the air, right?
yeah.
No.
So that's why, our servers are really strong. And then we're also having conversations about having redundancy with
Right.
like putting stuff on a USB drive or some kind of server that's off-site completely. So, there's a lot of different security things that our development team looks at to ensure that, accessibility is there. However, security is the number one thing. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, all those things are very attractive for vaulting, especially for me. Now, this is maybe be one of the final questions like that. Well, we've been going pretty good, a pretty good explanation, but I'm a crypto experience guy. So do you know any projects with cryptocurrencies and gold or gold backs that you've heard about? I've heard a couple. I know one,
mhm.
and I was telling you a little bit about it. I'm not sure where they're at, but Steven Hernandez,
Yeah.
working with PhiPay, and if I got this all correct, and Phi Gold's a company, and they're going to vault Goldbacks if he gets this all done. That
Cool.
sounds like a pretty neat idea to be able to, have the swipe your your crypto card, and boom, it's got the. So you're kind of doing that already in a sense, right? You're doing the True Link card. That's
Yeah,
close, but you got a little token, and you can send it in the crypto world out there. It's got a value in its own. So, have you heard
exactly.
about anything like that at all besides that?
Of course, yeah. So there's, I'll get probably 2 to 3 calls per month about specifically crypto related projects. And so, my role here in operations is to ensure that we can facilitate the liquidation or facilitate the transportation and distribution of those assets to the customers of those crypto people. So there's been clients of ours that have that same model where they're on a blockchain, they want to offer goldbacks or digital goldbacks,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the name is, that are backed by the real thing, the physical asset. So we have clients that have done that we have done that for, and we currently do that for as well. And there's a few others that are still kind of in the works that we're happy to vault and facilitate the logistics side of things. And the more the merrier. If people want to keep buying goldbacks and they want to have it on chain and have that public ledger, they want to be able to
Yeah.
track their transactions in that method, we're not going to stop them. What we will do is have apex quality vaulting and
Right.
accessibility for those things. We want to make sure that we can get the ability to spend these things into people's hands. So yeah, I won't name a couple of the partnerships, but yeah, there are things just like what you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
that we're working on. And so there's things that are going through beta testing, and then we're looking at different
Right.
chains. And then we do have, Quintric was one of them, your friend, Steven and Mark Volker. They're another, potential partnership there. So there's a lot of things that are in the works. We're crypto friendly, but we're also crypto agnostic. And so,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
we won't tie ourselves to like one chain per se as an off-ramp solution or whatever. But yeah, we want to facilitate, we want to help out however we can.
I went to the Litecoin Summit this year in Nashville, and our next door neighbor was the Bitcoin conference. Okay,
Cool.
we're literally like a block away from each other.
Nice.
The Litecoin was first. What's the difference between the two? Well, first of all, Litecoin is a much better coin. It's like 84 million to be made versus 21 million. It's like
Yeah.
crazy fast. I don't know if you ever hear of Wimble. It's an
Mhm.
anonymous layer. The Litecoin goes up, it disappears, comes back. Where'd it come from? And they're going to put that in their mobile wallet here soon, like
Cool.
that. So I'm mentioning that because I gave out Goldbacks to some Litecoin people. I tell you what, they were all like, they thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
There's a young lady that used to call herself Miss Teen Crypto. Have you ever
Mhm.
run across her at all? She goes by
Sounds
Randy
really
Kipling.
familiar. It
Yeah,
sounds
she's got a good following, several thousand people. But I
familiar.
gave her and her sister a Goldback. Oh my gosh, they were just thrilled to death about it. So that's pretty cool that the crypto people like that get it, right? They want that non-fiat thing. And I think it's great that we got a couple different avenues. But yeah, precious metals, if you get EMP'd, there's still precious metals, right?
Yep.
The crypto, we'll see what happens if we ever had to do that.
And that's our gig. We've seen a lot of um let's say energy in the crypto space among certain projects or certain products
Right,
like coins or chains or whatever. Some people are like, hey, rah my team, and I hate all the other teams, and
right.
there's no other asset, there's no other option but mine. And good for them. And I admire their zeal. But for us, again, it's options. There's different tools for different things.
Yeah.
I won't try to chop down a tree with a drill. It's not really smart to do that. I'm going to get a chainsaw or an axe. And so for us, we love all the different. Personally, I do enjoy crypto. I have several projects that I support,
Oh,
but
cool.
in my role professionally here, we're agnostic to those different projects. But I don't think that it's crypto versus gold or crypto
No, I
versus.
don't. Yeah, I don't either. I think they both have their place. They both give you some amount of privacy, especially with like Mimblewimble coming up and Monero. For those who know, that's a privacy coin. I know Mike Adams. I mentioned him twice now. The Health Ranger. He takes those. He takes those cryptos. I bet he'd take Goldbacks too. Now that
Yeah.
made me think of something here. So if I have a UPMA account and a merchant has a UPMA account, I can send it inside of the UPMA, can't I?
Yes.
and I've not done that yet. I find that I'm going to try that pretty soon. I think that's pretty neat that you can do that. So that
Yeah,
gives you
check
like a
it out.
cryptocurrency function, like boom, just like that.
It is really similar to that,
Mhm.
in the sense that it's private, and it's an agreement between two parties to transfer value. And so,
And it's
yeah, like
fast.
it is, yeah, it is pretty fast, and
Yeah.
you can see that it settles, and it is that it's done through an escrow service. So if there's
Okay.
just stuff, there is an intermediary to protect. And what's nice about it is if you get the address wrong, it doesn't go away forever. We'll find it for you.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's not just
Yeah, you
lost.
get it. Yeah, you get a crypto wrong, you probably just kissed it goodbye.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I've done so many 1 penny transfers in my life to
mhm.
make sure, and then you lose some fees on that. But on alpinegold.com, there's a resources tab, and then there's a button that says metals accepting businesses. And if you're to do that, we're creating different tags. Most of them now are Goldback physical accepting businesses, but there are a percentage of them as well that will accept UPMA transfers. So you
I
can reach
just
out to say
I
that.
just found and even in Illinois, I found a store. It's about 45 minutes away it's on your site.
Nice.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that was pretty cool. I said, whoa, even here in Illinois, there's a couple, and there was about maybe at least a half a dozen businesses in the
Cool.
state. Yeah, on your list. And for Illinois, that was amazing. So,
That's
well,
cool.
Ronnie, I don't
Yeah.
want to take up all your time. Is there anything you want to finish with? I think we did a pretty good job here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you giving us the platform. We're all about helping people, man. And these lease options through the IRA, they're just so powerful. I do it myself, and I hope more people will see the value because it does give you options. It allows you to spend, it allows you to use assets, every month when you're receiving those dividends. And it's just a great way to protect your wealth, really to preserve your purchasing power over time. I really hope that more people, and if it's not with us, that's okay. If you have a gold dealer or people that you trust, just get something in your hands. If you
Mhm.
have,
Oh yeah.
a group of crypto people or friends that are involved, ask your friends about, how can I try spending these assets? Because our dollar's being, devalued every day. And
Oh,
so if it's not
absolutely.
with us, reach out to people that you know, that you trust. But we're here for you. We're real people. If you call us, you're gonna get Pam, you're gonna get Quentin, you'll get Ashley. Like these are real humans that are here for you. And then we're growing our branch footprint as well to support people all across America. And so, Kent, I appreciate the time, my man, and all those questions were great. And I wish you the best of luck with your channel as
Oh, thank
well,
you.
and
Yeah.
good blessings for your audience.
Well, I will definitely be pushing Alpine Gold and Goldbacks, and I like to work them in my crypto crowd, like that too. So, well,
Cool.
thank you. I'm hold on just a second. I'll pause. I'll say goodbye, then I'll pause real quick. All right, thanks
Awesome.
everybody for watching. I hope you are better informed about Alpine Gold, especially, and Goldbacks and precious metals. And thank you very much. I'll be getting this up pretty soon. Thank you.